Let me recognize the gentleman from Illinois, Mr. LaHood, to inquire.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Ambassador Lighthizer, for being here. And just want to say thank you for your responsiveness to us here in Congress and your attention, both in a bipartisan way with Democrats and Republicans, and your entire team that you have behind you. You've been great to work with. And as we think about USMCA and getting this clock started, that's what we're waiting on. And you've been looking at this for the last year and working on it. And frankly, it concerns me a little bit that we haven't started the clock yet and that Speaker Pelosi hasn't brought this forth yet. And I worry every week that goes by that we're losing time, and frankly, I'm losing patience with not getting this going. If you put politics aside and you look at USMCA, this is good for workers, this is good for jobs, and it's good for the long-term economy of this country. So I'm hopeful that all of that goodwill that you have engaged with the Speaker and the Democrats will pay off and we can get that clock started here to get USMCA across the finish line. Secondly, I want to compliment you on being a superb negotiator and really being a zealot for America when it comes to China, when it comes to USMCA, when it comes to our trade agreements that are on the horizon with Japan and the EU. You've been superb in that manner. Frankly, when I look at where things are at with China, I want to ask you some specific questions on that. I would initially say I'm not generally a fan of tariffs. Tariffs to me are taxes. They're taxes on consumers. They're taxes on businesses. I have a ag district that's the 8th largest ag district in the country. And my farmers don't necessarily like tariffs. But I'll tell you what they also don't like. They don't like the fact that China's been ripping us off for 25 years. And most of my farmers, they're Americans first and they're farmers second. And we look about where we're at with China right now and where this administration is. And I applaud you on being tough with China because long term, when we look at technology, and I've heard you say this before, technology is the future of the world. And we lead the world in technology, and China wants to beat us. And they're doing everything possible to do that. And when I look at our trade stance with China and where we're at, as we look at what happened with the breakdown in the negotiations with China, it appeared to me and many of us we were making progress in your negotiations with LaHood and also with Secretary Mnuchin, and then it broke down. And it appears that the Chinese maybe reneged on some of their promises, came back with a lot of edits and changes that caused things to go south. I was wondering whether you can comment on what went wrong at the end of the negotiations. And secondly, does that change our negotiating policy moving forward? And are those fault lines repairable?
First of all, thank you very much, Congressman, for your kind statements about me and my team and the President's trade policy. As I said before, we have a bad situation. The President's just not going to tolerate it. So we're going to make changes, and I think the President has done that across the board. And shock of all the members, I'll say the President will say to me every now and then, Bob, we just have to do something. We're not doing anything in trade. And I'm thinking, okay, Mr. President. On what happened is in the China talks, it's more or less speculation, right? Now, my speculation is that some forces in China decided that they had gone too far. The negotiators had gone too far, went out beyond their mandate. You know, I don't know whether that's true or not. I'm just speculating on that. The issues that we talked about, first of all, I have trust and complete good faith in the people that I'm dealing with. They're tough, professional negotiators, and you know, but they're professional. I don't have any question that they're doing what they believe their mandate is. The issues haven't changed. The issues are the same issues. They have to be resolved. The President's never going to agree to any agreement that doesn't deal with these issues of technology transfer and IP protection and the whole stuff right down the line, and agriculture and other issues. And my hope is we can get back on track. I think it's in their interest. I think it's in our interest. And hopefully the politics over there will line up in a way that allows that to happen.
And just as a follow-up, what are your expectations for the G20 summit next week? And then secondly, what are your plans for additional tariffs if talks continue to stall?
So if there's stall, we have a process ongoing. In a couple of weeks, we'll have the legal authority. We believe we will have done the process. The president will at that point make a decision as to whether he wants to put them in place. We'll keep everyone informed, and he'll also decide on which specific products and on what the amount is. We're looking at up to 25%. So in terms of the G20,